Hi, everybody. We are here for Vision Creating 2024. It's so funny. Last night I was like in a mad panic. I've been so sick, I haven't been able to get out and get anything. So I found magazines that I had in my house, magazines that I actually have pictures in. And it was so cool to be able to go in and take a look at these and leaf through them and discover, hey, there's a picture of mine. So from our Canada, I've actually got pictures in two different magazines in 2 different years of some kids that I know and that I took pictures of, and I entered them into these contests. And I also found a mountain biking magazine, so I was like, yeah, very happy with that. And then I realized today I have no glue sticks. I have all these incredible words cut out, but I have no glue sticks. So what I'm going to start with is let's just take a moment to set the tone and come into this space together as a group. So I'm inviting you to close your eyes if it's safe to do so. I'm not sure if you're all settled in a chair somewhere or if you're out doing other things, but I invite you to come into this beautiful sacred space. Feel how we are coming together collectively. We're also seeing each other as individuals. We're feeling the power and the strength, the understanding of what this next year has in store for us, the power that we are choosing to invoke because of the fact that we are here to create that vision, to write out 50 goals, 50 things that we would like to have happen in 2024. We're open to however that unfolds. We're feeling very grounded in. Imagine that we are all one single tree, that we are all the roots digging deeply into the earth. That we together are this beautiful trunk of the tree, and that we are reaching our arms up to the divine as branches, feeling the love, the support, the openness, and the awareness. Asking our minds, bodies, and souls in every aspect of ourselves, in every realm, in every dimension, to come together for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. And give yourself a moment to experience that exactly, that you're here for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. When you are innately tapped into this beautiful, magical energy, everything that you want for yourself is so very, very important. Because you witnessing what you want, what you desire, maybe even what you need, you are empowering yourself in this beautiful, incredible way. There is so much magic in self. And there's a beautiful ripple effect that occurs because of that. And I'd love for you just to experience that ripple as it goes out further and further all around you. And I invite you to set an intention with your Vision 2024. Just take a moment to think about the things that you want to place on there, how you'd like to feel when these come to fruition. And that you're open with no expectations, no limitations. That with a little direction, the power is so much in your hands, and you are the one creating that outcome. Mm. And that you are the outcome. And so it is. So know as we go through here that I will be possibly inviting you to express something, to share something, to be open to the power and the wisdom that's coming through as we create our vision books. Now, I've mentioned to those of you who kind of been following along for a number of years now, I've been using a coil book. And what's really magical about the coil book is that I can go all the way back to the beginning of my coil book and take a look at some of the words that I've used that have just really felt very, very powerful. A new attitude, finding your sweet spot. That's that there. I have really like, I don't know when I'm going to find out in a second here when I put this in here, but finding that sweet spot to me now is that inner dragon energy. And that just feels so powerful to me that I placed this in here back in, let me see a year. I'm going to see if I can find a year in here. My first written list was 2019. So this book is 4 years old, and I placed that in here 4 years ago, and now it has come to my awareness, just in showing you guys that that sweet spot is about living that inner dragon. So I just am really loving the power of that. Some other things that I've done as well is created a list of 50 things that I wanted in 2019 or 2020, 2021. I think there's one year when I only wrote 3 or 4 things down, which was very sad. But I, for the most part, did almost 50. Like I think there's 47 in here. You'll also notice that I've got different colors on here. And that those colors are the ones that I've done. I've actually accomplished those. So I go back and I look at my previous years, not just last year, but previous years to see how I've done. So in this 2019, item number 36 was get a newer van. Well, I colored that in and it actually says June of 2021. So I just am kind of keeping this awareness of how things are unfolding, that I am accomplishing these things as I write them down. So I'm going to be going through this even more and looking and seeing which ones I've got accomplished. Words, there's so much power in words, just writing down all your words. Either if you're writing them down or you're cutting them out of magazines. I had a conversation with someone earlier, and it was about living healthy. And I've got these beautiful pictures of healthy food in here that help me to move into the energy of that. There's all kinds of there's so much that we can do in this vision creating. Kitty, is it okay to call upon you to invite in the moon energy, and you can maybe give us just a little rundown on how we can use that energy right now as well?
Sure, no problem. Um, which I just reminded that I haven't done my reel today. So the uh, the moon is in Cancer, so it's very, very powerful because the moon rules Cancer. And so the energy really today is about the vision, the deep dive into the ebbs and tides of the ocean. That is the energy we're talking about, and what nurtures us and what steps forward today. And let me take a look at the aspects that are with it today. Um, and it's interesting because we have a conjunction with our ability um, and our will to experience what it is we wish to experience in truth, and in really it's in truth itself. It's in the structure of who we are right now. And the moon and the sun are also trine at the moment, so they're really working together in whatever the structure is that we need to nurture. Very powerful energy today. And this is the ruler of the moon, and we just came out of a full moon yesterday, and that is where we let go, and then we give gratitude as if we already have those things, because we've now let go to make space to gather in that energy. And our moon is our private energy. It's what we truly, truly want. It's what we have some level of understanding about, that we come into this life to use to make our decisions and take a look at different things. And it's interesting today too, because the moon itself is not very active, but some of the other planets are. So it really is very much supporting our everyday energy. And that's one reason why this is a great day for this. Um, because we are really looking at what is it every single day where we are accepting we already have in our energy and that we work with.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to invite each of you to take a few minutes right now. I'm going to set a timer. And given what Kitty has just divulged to us or given us, is give yourself about, we're going to go in and just do 5 minutes of writing. Write a letter to yourself about what you would love to have in this next year. How do you want to feel? Where would you like to travel or go to? What would you like to experience with your health? Relationship with self? And what do you want to learn? That's something that a lot of us don't really pay attention to, is that what do I want to learn? So invite that piece in as well. Okay, so I'm going to give us 5 minutes. There we go. That felt very nice. Uh, it was interesting just some of the things that came up in that, and uh, just it felt very powerful to concrete that in, to just feel the energy of that. This new moon is about setting intentions, really kind of stepping into the energy of that, and the letter that you've just written to yourself. Put the date on it too, I guess, right? Now, some of you are just popping in today, and you may not have had a chance to um, grab magazines and grab uh, pictures and what have you. So I'm going to offer a few out that I currently have right now, and you can maybe write these down on your vision page. Vision books can be created in many different ways. As I mentioned, I've got different pages in mind where I've done all kinds of logos, words, and what have you. I've put in pictures of vehicles. I put in pictures of glasses, sunglasses, even funky jeans and pants and clothing that I want. Another thing that we can do too is literally we do that. We've something that we've been doing in the Dragon Wheel is this neurographic kind of artwork where you draw in and you just let your pen flow on the piece of paper, and then you could be writing in side pieces of this your phrases that you want to use. Okay. So, I'm going to actually ask you to entertain this idea, and we're going to do that right now, I think, is we're going to do one of these drawings, and then you can put your pieces into that as well. So when I talk about the drawings, oh dear, do I have one handy? Probably not. Oh, I do. I do. In essence, what you're going to do is you can, when you place your pen on the paper, you literally just allow it to flow in whatever direction. It could be zigzaggy, it could be solids, it could be straight lines, it could be curves, it could be hearts, stars, whatever you want. This was kind of like the end result of one of mine. And then also too, there's one that I did one where it was quite a bit more solid lines. um, that's what this one looked like with the pyramids in that, added little pieces. Um, this is something that we could do and add words into it, or you can just do that and it's underneath all your pictures that you tape on or glue on afterwards. It's okay to put it underneath, because what you're doing is you're creating the synopsis, you're creating those bits and pieces that are honing in on your in your mind, your imagination. Okay. So what I'm going to invite you to do is I'm again going to set a timer, and we're going to, in essence, draw for a short time. And in that drawing, kind of think about the letter that you just wrote to yourself. Think about the intention and the feelings and the things that you want in 2024 as you're putting your pen to paper and just allowing it to flow easily in whatever direction. When you're done, like if you've got everything done that you've done that you have for your solid kind of flowing one, at that space, then think about, if the timer's still running, think about the little pieces that you want to add. Like if it's a heart, or if it's a pyramid, or a symbol of some sort, or numbers, or anything like that. So we're going to take another 5 minutes to do that as well. Okay. Okay. Now, one of the things that if you choose to work on this piece specifically even more, everywhere that a line crossed a line, you create this arc. Okay. And when I'm talking about when I say create the arc, it's like you're creating this rounded piece, if you will. So I'll show you what I mean here. So in essence, the lines crossed each other here and I created this rounded piece. I could probably have done it at the top of there as well. I'll show you what I mean with the other one because it shows a little bit more easily what I mean. You can see where each of these lines created came together. You make this piece here, okay? So this is something that you can continue to work on now, or you can start to add phrases to this, add some color to it after, or add some color to it now. You could do pictures, adding pictures on top of it, depending how big it is. There's so many different pieces of this. And what you're doing is you're creating this beautiful heart connection to this piece of artwork. Yeah, so we're very strongly in the energy of love, support, family, relationships. I know in mine, I did finish mine. I made mine up and down, and then I added all kinds of ancient symbols, which was really kind of an interesting aspect of things. Okay. So what I'd like for each of us to do now is if you did grab cards, pull yourself a card and pull a card on love for self. This first card is about yourself and for 2024 with regards to yourself, okay? I invite you to share your card as well if you would like to share your card. I know for myself, I'm using the Chinese Oracle deck. It's a deck that I'm not very familiar with. And interestingly enough, I got Tiger with a beautiful woman, and she's coming out of the water up to meet the tiger. And it just feels very, very empowering to myself. It just feels like this two aspects, like the little you and the higher self energy really coming together in a very magical, powerful way. So what I'd love for you to do now is to add color or add phrases to your picture or to a separate piece of paper, whatever the case is, with regards to the cards and verses that came up. I'm going to also verbalize some of the ones that I cut from a magazine, so you guys have some other ideas. Or do you want me to give you some space first with the cards? Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll give you guys about 2 minutes with what we've got from the cards first. The first card. Okay. What is your word? What is your word this year? I invite you to add your word to your diagram. Make it look a little different, maybe capitalize it or highlight it in some manner, but really have it be a focal point in your artwork. Now, I'd like you to really fully comprehend that all of this stuff that we've already done has been very much about self. It's very empowering. And I welcome you to stand in the energy of your piece of artwork, your vision that you're creating right now. And I'm gonna, set the timer again. I'm gonna set the timer again for another 5 minutes. And what I'm inviting you to do is to just take a look at what's already unfolding in that and feel the energy of who you are right now as you are sitting here looking at this. And then what I would love for you to do is to imagine yourself this time next year looking back at this and feel the power of who you are in that moment. Allow yourself to be that. Feel the energy of those words that you used, the confidence, believe, surrender, the love, the courage, the focus, the action, the expansion, or the stretching, whatever it is. The super girl, the moon and the Cancer energy, the taskmaster, the potential, the communication, the bringing together and the conjunction, the strong tree, the diva, the steadfast energy, the clear soul pathway, the fifth dimensional energy, the strength, the moving forward, the beating of your own drum, the transient, the safe in the constant change, the loving, the cherishing, and the protecting of one's own body and self, the going through the doors and going for it. So I'm going to set the timer and just feel into the energy of that as you create those rounded circle bits, if you want, on some of the cross lines that I had mentioned about. So you're kind of creating the synapses of this now. Beautiful. Now, knowing what your power word is for 2024, I invite you to pull another card or look up another verse. This can be from the same deck or a different one, whatever the case is. I'm inviting you to pull another card or use a different verse.
The other one was power. What is this one for?
It's like stacking, I guess. What your word was, it was focus. So this card will help you with the focus or give you direction with the focus. It'll empower you in some manner with regards to whatever your power word was. This is just another layer of that. Thank you for the question. Well, that is most bizarre. I don't know if this deck has an error in it or what, but look at this. I would not have thought. I see now one's black and one's white when I held them up to you guys, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll get the tiger card again. So there's definitely something very powerful about that. It makes me curious as to wondering what role my son is going to play in my next year, because his nickname from birth, from the moment he popped out, has been Tiger. So just something really powerful happening. And I actually got two cards. I got the other one was Rooster, which is a really fascinating looking card with this woman in here. Yeah. Okay. Let's take this a little bit further now, everybody, with regards to this. We've been really working with self a lot on this. We've got a word. We've been working on this diagram. I'm inviting you now to add the next layer to this with regards, like, I truly believe that this had to do with love, had to do with health, the bits and pieces. So add on to this of another layer of this. Like, I'm feeling energetically that soul's pathway. So what will help you on that journey, on that soul's pathway? And it is okay if it's like a new pair of shoes, a new pair of glasses. I really want a leather coat, whatever it is. I don't personally want a leather coat, but I'm just saying, like, give yourself the room to go, I want this. This is something that I want. So for instance, for myself, I very much am conscious of how I'd like to have our solar system working out in the van and that internet system. Like those two kind of go hand in hand. And so I'm energetically feeling into what are the concrete things that are going to help move me forward on my path. Right? So what is that item? What's an item that you want, that you desire, that would truly shift you in energetically feeling? I know in my vision book, I can go back through my pages and there's this picture of an emerald ring. And this emerald ring, my mom actually has an emerald ring. I will likely receive it at some point. However, I'm really energetically feeling what an emerald ring means for me as well. It's not a show of status per se with regards to anybody else. I could really care less what anybody else thinks about me wearing an emerald ring. I mean, reality is that I don't really wear a lot of rings anyway because I mountain bike. So I'm not necessarily going to be wearing it. It might come in a different form. But there's something really powerful about emerald energy, whether it's a finished ring or cabot or whatever they call it, something I hang on my neck, or whether it's a raw emerald, but there's something very, very powerful about an emerald and my energy. And I can just, now that I'm saying that, that's where I'm headed on my piece of paper. So maybe that's the direction you're being asked to go, is what crystal, if it's not something concrete that you can think of that is like I said, the internet service or the solar system, maybe it's a crystal that's really being asked to be brought forward right now. You might not know the name of it, but maybe you know the color of it. Maybe you know the shape of it. Maybe you know kind of what it looks like. I mean, some have striations, some are very see-through. So whatever it is, it can be that personal item or a crystal. What's coming up energetically that wants to be added onto your paper? If it is a crystal, I recommend that you look it up
Yeah.
and see what line stands out for you, what words stand out for you, all keeping in alignment with yourself, your power words, the cards that have been pulled, and just really feeling into the energy of what is this crystal or what is this item attempting to tell you. Because even if it was the solar system and the internet, that is something that's drawing in a lot of wisdom, a lot of energy. So there's something about whatever this is, this item is, that you have chosen or has chosen you. Okay, so something really fascinating just happened. I just looked up the emerald for myself. I think most of you are aware of an incident when I spoke about seeing this woman and her son in this red car, and that although the woman was completely obese, that wasn't what I was seeing. I was actually seeing this very slender woman in the seat. And when I asked my mentor at the time what on earth I was seeing, she was saying I was seeing who they really were. And that there was the moment that was born that I see the incredible you. what an emerald means is truth, love, intuition, sight, and being able to see future events or future. So when I say that this emerald has also been in my book, I'm now really recognizing the holy wow of this, because I do see the incredible yous in you that you guys are just starting to see and starting to draw out. And that's that emerald energy that's coming in. So that's how powerful this has been. This is also why I recommend using or going back and looking at the stuff that you've done over the years with regards to your visions. We're honing in on a crystal that's really powerful for ourselves moving into 2024. We also chose a word popped in for each one of us. And then then we chose the crystal after that. And we did some neurographic kind of drawing and writing out of words and things, just kind of really focusing in on ourself and our energy of self moving into 2024 and how we feel now and how powerful and how empowered, how there's, it's so interesting. I want to put it to human words, and I keep having a lack of human words with regards to how we want to step into the energy of at the end of 2024. What we've been doing in essence, though, has been layering on all of this beautiful things and pieces to ourselves to really help us move into 2024. These crystals, whether you know each of the ones that each of us had or the one that each of us chose as an individual, I highly recommend. It's so interesting. I actually received a little bit of money here that I never ever expected to receive over the month of December with regards to my status as well as my dad. And now I'm thinking, gee, maybe I should go buy myself some sort of emerald. I don't have to go spend the bank, but maybe I should go have a piece that I actually have something tangible in hand, be it raw or, some piece that I can hang around my neck. There's just something really empowering by choosing to wear or have in your mind or in your energy that crystal that you're using. There's something very empowering in using that word throughout the entire year. That's something I really learned from watching Kitty over the last couple of years. This isn't her first go around with a word. It's not even her second year of choosing a word. She's been doing this for a number of years. And watching her step into the energy and reflecting back, like it's not like, oh, I have this word and then I'm never going to mention it again. It was in conversations that we had that word would come up, like use that word to empower yourself throughout the year. The cards that you pulled. Thank you to each of you for having been here. It's just been a really empowered, very different way to do the vision board. We started out with doing like I mentioned, the neurographic where we were doing drawing on a piece. Then we did a bunch of words. We added words that were very empowering to ourselves. We added other little symbols. We're doing the corners of each of the bits and pieces. And then I invite you to add color to that full diagram. This isn't a diagram that's going to be finished today, but I think by any means. You can add different pages where you've got words that you cut out or you've got pictures that you've cut out. Janice showed us her picture of the horses, and I know how empowering that is. I've got this wooden case that I bought my phone years ago, and I've never thrown it away because it's got a horse on it, and it's so powerful. It has such incredible meaning to me. There's no way I'm getting rid of it just for the sake of it having a crack on it. This is the one picture that I cut out. Deer. Deer have been so powerful for me as one of my spirit animals. So it's going to go into my book. And no, it's a huge, huge picture too. So I have to be gentle with myself. I came to the end of this year and got hit with COVID like I've never been hit with a sickness in a very long time. The last time I've been out like that has been because of physical energies. I think this was a lot of mental energy. I needed to stop. So this deer, again, is just really reminding myself to be gentle with myself, to recognize the seasons that I'm going through. So I invite each of you now, as we wind up, as we finish these last 15 minutes together, what animal is coming through for you? What animal is coming through for you for 2024? It can be a domestic animal, it can be a wild animal, and it can be a fairy tale type of animal. It can be anything. Just open yourself up to seeing what animal wants to come through. So I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes there. I'm going to set the timer again. You can bring up the animal, think of the animal, whatever the animal is, and then look up the symbolism. The way you do that is you write the word down and then just go symbolism behind it. And you can look it up. It'll tell you everything. Highlight what I ask you guys to do is when you're looking up the symbolism of something, and I'm saying this for the benefit of those who are newer to me. When you're looking up the symbolism of something, hone in on the powerful pieces, the positive pieces. Choose to be empowered, not put down by whatever you're looking up. Okay? Those pieces that have a I don't know how to word that. I want to say negative, but I don't really want to say negative. The ones that make you look at it and go, what the heck does that mean? There might be something within yourself that it's bringing attention to, so you know you can work with that piece.
Spiritually, what does ego mean?
I love that. So look up your animal, okay? I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to do that. No. There we go. Okay. Again, absolutely no mistake as to the animals that come up. Even as I was talking to you guys, and as I was just kind of getting things organized on my end, a giraffe popped in, and I just love giraffes. To me, they mean reach for the stars. But when I looked it up, it actually says faith in self. And this is something that I've been working with my coach a lot right now, in that many of you know that I'm really making strides to go way bigger, for a number of different reasons. One being bringing my husband home from work. The other, and probably the biggest focus though, is to really get so many other people out there living their inner dragon. And one of the things that it says when I looked up giraffe is that it started in Africa, but it and instead of but and has extended its influence around the globe. You can't make this stuff up. Distinctiveness and individuality. And that's what I'm really striving for, is empowering each of you to find your strengths and your individuality. So thank you for letting me share that, because I could feel the energy. I really want you guys to recognize the words that you're saying and the power that's coming through. Like, I choose to recognize that I'm a shapeshifter. I have chosen to shape my life and change my life. You have the ability to change what's going on in your life. I've done it. You've witnessed me do it. You can do it too, one step at a time. Okay, you guys got this. There are definitely those among us here who are very familiar with doing shamanic journeys, meaning using drums or listening to the didgeridoo or any of those things. Do that. Go on a journey after this. Maybe make that your New Year's Eve thing if you're not doing something else. Maybe choose to step into the energy at some point over this next week to really step into the energy of your power word, the cards that you possibly pulled. You can or don't have to, it's up to you. The animal and the crystal, and go on a journey and really anchor in what's come up here for you for 2024. And I love what was also said there, Barb, with that willingness to stick with it, however long it takes. Know that you personally have chosen to step onto that path with a very, very, what's the word that wants to come in? You've chosen to step onto that path. That's how it wants to come through. And because you've chosen to step onto it, you are now fast tracking. It's not going to take forever. It's not going to take more than this lifetime. You are going to be well on your way. And I think you know that, you understand that, you see that, especially because of the conversation that you and I had this morning. So know that you are well on your way. You're not just meandering along any longer. Very empowered. It's been a really interesting envisioning 2024. I had no idea what direction this was going to go. I honestly thought we were cutting and pasting and putting pictures in a book and that, and where we went felt like that's what we needed to do in this group together, and it just was very empowering. So thank you very much for participating and doing that. I appreciate each and every one of you so very, very much. Yeah, this has been a really a beautiful, beautiful experience for myself, and I really appreciate each and every one of you.